Oh, hi everybody. Thanks for coming along. Well, we might get straight into it. Oh, you're all relieved, I know. A few years ago, I was sitting out on my back porch and I had a cask of cheap plonk and some fish and chips for tea. And I wouldn't say I passed out, but I had a dream, ladies and gentlemen. I had a dream. I dreamt I went to Melbourne to kickstart my career. I had to get away, there was nothing happening here. I'd made a new CD, best one I'd done so far. Then it started getting played on 3RRR. So I'm walking down Brunswick Street, feeling out of place. A bearded hipster comes up to me, staring at my face. Man, he said, I love your new CD. I went into a guitar shop there. They wanted a selfie with me. And it was all just like a dream. It was all just like a dream. Just like a dream. So we had the album launch at the Corner Hotel. That place was packed with friends and faces I knew well. James Black from Rock Quiz, Julia Zamira too. They're checking me out for episode number 992. Paul Kelly slips in and sits down in the back corner. Caught me by net Jeff Lang and the A&R man from Warner. And during the break, Padinsky comes over to me. Donnie, he said, let's get some action up in Sydney. I'll organise a tour, just leave it all up to me. And it was all just like a dream. It was all just like a dream. But it was just a dream. Just a dream. 'Cause now I'm in the front bar of the Federal Hotel with a few lonely drinkers. It's a scene I know well. They stare straight ahead as I sing Pat Malone. For the together and connected, it's a little too close to the bone. And after the gig, the manager comes over to me. I know he's going to try and renegotiate the fee. I've done okay though, I sold a few CDs. Enough for some cheap wine tomorrow and fish and chips for tea. I'll get a cask of piss tomorrow and have fish and chips for tea. And it was all just like a dream. It was all just a dream. I had a dream. Just a dream. I had a dream. Just a dream. Even I can dream. Thanks very much. A long, long time ago, when I came back to live in Adelaide from Melbourne, applied for the dole. And in those days, when you went there, when you applied for the dole, you had to go and sit a test to see if you're suitable to work in the public service. And I'd never worked in an office before. I always worked on building sites of factories and stuff. And anyway, I did the test. And I was shocked and amazed a few weeks later when a letter came back and said, Don, do you want to come and work in the Australian Tax Office? And, well, yeah, great. You know, it was fantastic. And anyway, after a few years working there, I rose from the rock bottom to next to rock bottom. And I used to answer your tax queries on how to fill out, you know, your tax pack and that. And I hope if you got the response, Australian Tax Office, this is Don, that you never listened to a word I said. But while I was there, I shared a cell with a bloke called John Kelly. And he used to come in every morning and tear a page off this massive fat calendar he had and say, you know, 800 to go. He was counting down to his retirement. And I got out of there before John. And then years later, I wrote this song called John Kelly's Calendar. John Kelly has a calendar and he's marked out all the days. 797 until his retirement day. The office has a window. I watch the girls go by. I see the buses grinding on. I catch a glimpse of blue sky. I was brought back to earth all too soon by another pointless meeting or one more stupid call. Some big shot down from Sydney supposed to motivate us all. And they sometimes ask me, why do I stay? I ask myself that question. Sometimes we talk about it, John Kelly and I dream up ways to walk out and not even say goodbye. Maybe I could turn feral and grow veggies in the hills, or buy up some sort of franchise for my lawn mowing skills. And they sometimes ask me, why do I stay? I ask myself that question every single day. But I've got my reasons, like a year's got its seasons. A man has to do what a man's supposed to do. But I wonder what would happen if I believed I could fly. Would I take Now, Eddie Morrison, the bass player, just says, am I a bit loud? And what sort of answer does he expect from anybody that's not a bass player? Of course he is.
Any bass players in the audience? What do you reckon? That guy's giving a very measured response. Just right. That's what we like to hear, folks. That's the answer I expect. Louder, says someone over there. Just... let me spend some of these drink tickets and we'll see how loud we get.
Anyway, let's get back on track here. Every Monday night, actually, it'd be good for you to come along in the Lind Reserve at Stepney between 8 and 9 every Monday, even if it's Christmas Day or whatever. It's a live-to-air radio show called the Hillbilly Hoot. It's on broadcast on 3D radio, but, you know, lots of people come along. And when we first started about 25 years ago, we used to keep playing late at night out on the street in front of the old studio there. And every Monday, about 10:30, 11, a bloke called Albie would come along, an old fella, and get up and collect the empty bottles that we would leave out there for him. And he's sort of long since passed away, but I wrote this song a while back called Collecting Albie. Pork pie hat, walks like a man with things to do. He carries an old shopping bag, it's red, white and blue. Albie collects up bottles and aluminium cans, then sells them down the depot for whatever he can. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Well, I've seen him in the park, I've seen him up on Main Street collecting after dark. And every Monday evening he comes over late at night to collect up all the bottles we leave out by the light. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. And your eagle eyes stay true. May the handles on your shopping bag never fail on you. May you collect up all the empties in the southern hemisphere, and the pile and may go through the stratosphere. Collecting Albie, collecting Albie. Well, actually, it's perfect timing. It was actually on Christmas Day, a few years ago now, maybe 10, I don't know. I was driving home after having a lovely lunch with the family, you know, about 5 o'clock on afternoon on Christmas Day, and going past down to my place at Rosewater, go down Grand Junction Road, and turn the corner to my place, and there's this street girl plying her trade on Christmas Day. And I thought, wow, what a... Anyway, I went home and got started on this song. It runs alongside the city, past all the things they don't want you to see, and then goes to all the places that you don't wanna be. It's the home of the high-vis shirt and the clapped-out Commodore, of smokes hanging out the window and one eye out for the law. There's no prestigious location, no desirable postcode. There's nothing up and coming on Grand Junction Road. Grand Junction Road. At the IGA, near Addison Road, they do their best to keep it clean, well stocked and in straight rows. But in the car park, there's a deal going down between young men so far gone, they're barely human. And on the corner, there's a girl so stoned she can hardly stand, when just a mile or two down the road, she could be kicking her heels up in the sand. There's bottle shops selling to the old ways pissed, street girls servicing the never kissed, late night pokies for the barely missed, truckloads of crap for the Wingfield tip. It's the place you go to make a living, it's not the place you want to live in. You won't find nothing to ease your load driving down Grand Junction Road. My father worked in a factory there, just down from the prison. Sometimes 6 days a week, but most often 7. And I wonder what he thought about all those years he drove, first thing every morning down Grand Junction Road. Thanks very much. Now, in the interest of balance, we have to go across to the other side of town. Now, as far as I know, there's only ever been 2 songs written that mention Kensington Road. There's the one I'm going to do for you in a minute, and the one that Paul Kelly wrote way back. And the comparisons between myself and Paul are stark, really. We were born on the same day. I was born in McGill and he was born in Kensington Gardens, the more expensive suburb just around the corner. Both come from big Catholic families. He, of course, had 9 siblings and I only had 7. Both went to Catholic colleges. He went to the most expensive, Ross Trevor, and I went to the cheapest down there at Morris Brothers on the corner. Both back for Nord. Both went to Melbourne about the same time. He sold hundreds of thousands of records, and I've sold hundreds. And but actually, the one thing I've got on Paul is you can see just by looking at me, I don't have to wear a hat when I play. Aye. Now, you might have heard this before, but it's the latest part of this story is when my band, we'll do a song for them later, from them, moved to Melbourne, the Bodgies, in the very early 80s. We were practicing at these rehearsal studios called the Richmond Recorders, which is also a famous recording studio. And the bloke that used to run it, called Tony Cohen, he was a famous producer. And he heard us practicing there. And Molly Meldrum lived just around the corner. And he rang up Molly and said, "Molly, you come down here and listen to these blokes from Adelaide. They're great." So Molly turns up at the Richmond Recorders and opens the first door he saw, and he says, "Are you the blokes from Adelaide?" And Paul Kelly said, "Yeah." So there you go. But anyway, I've forgotten what I was going to do now. I said Kensington Road.
It's written down, luckily.
Well, if you keep on driving up Kensington Road, you'll end up on a hill. You can look out all over the city from there, where it's quiet and it's still. Well, there must be a million people down there, all lined up in straight rows. And you wonder what the plan is from the end of Kensington Road. Well, there must be people dying. There must be people making love. There must be people crying out for help from their God above. Is it a town or is it a city? Depends on who you're talking to. But for me it's just a place where people are living, and they do what they gotta do. Hey. Well, you can hear the hum of the traffic, watch the jet planes come and go. You can see the ships out on the bay from the end of Kensington Road. Well, there must be people up, little kids on their first days at school. There must be parents working out how to pass on the golden rule. Some people down there are living their dream. Some are dreaming their lives away. Some are living for tomorrow. Some just get it through the day. It makes me wonder. Yes, I wonder. Oh, well, I wonder why. Yes, I wonder. It makes me wonder. Well, I wonder why. Thanks very much. Here's one of the first songs I ever wrote way back. Well, I got this feeling so strong it must be right. I'm headed for, it's a long and troubled night. I see it stretched out before me, and I feel the unknown. I see dark clouds coming. I must face them on my own. Oh, I'm stuck again. What happened to those letters that I sent? I'm sinking low, 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 looking for a place to go. Thanks very much. You can tell how old that one was. Letters that I sent. Where are they? Actually, that's the way Australia Post is going. If I sent a letter back then, I'd just be getting it now anyway. So. What about I heard the devil call my name?
Sounds good. We should play it.
Yeah. Was asleep. I heard the devil call my name. He said, "Don boy, come on down. It's time I staked my claim." Well, I cried, and I cried out loud. I regret what I have done. But the devil, he just laughed. He said, "Don, you had your fun." Heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name. Well, at last, I finally woke. My room was all in flames, my lungs filled with smoke. I heard the devil call my name. I cried, "Lord, help me now." But he just turned the other cheek. He said, "I can't help you now. You got your destiny to make." Heard the devil call my name. I heard the devil call my name. Now I feel like I'm burning up inside. I got nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Well, I said to the devil, "Mate, how would you feel? Maybe we could get together and do some sort of deal." He said, "I've been burned by that crap before. I don't do that crossroad shit anymore." Heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name. Now I feel like I'm burning up inside. I got nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name. Heard the devil call my name.
Thank you. Song about the devil calling people's name there.
And the lyrics have changed from "Happy Birthday" to "Happy Christmas."
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, way back, you know, I was working in, as I mentioned before, I used to work a lot in factories and stuff. I was working in this foundry, and this bloke, old fella, used to work there, and I don't know why they kept him on. They just felt sorry for him. As old George, he was obviously an alco, and he'd come in the morning and he'd be all rheumy-eyed and red-faced and bad-tempered and didn't do much until lunchtime. After that, he got going a bit, and we used to say every Friday night, we'd say, "Come on, George, let's go down the pub. We're going to have a few beers after work." He said, no, I don't drink. Anyway, one day he said, "Oh, all right, I'll come down and have a lemonade, you know." And in a short time, he was right into the whatever was cheapest over the bar and that. And I remember one of the things he said that night, I've got a kid somewhere. He must be growing up now. And years later now, you know, when I became a world-famous singer-songwriter, reaping in 7 cents a year from Spotify royalties, I remember that saying. I wrote this song called, we've changed the lyrics, it's called "Merry Christmas to Me." Well, I woke up as the sun came up on the railway side of town. I took a swig from my old brown paper bag. It wore my bones as it went down. So I finished off all of that bottle to get my heart started for the day. And as I rolled away my old newspaper, I saw the date. It was Christmas Day. And I said to myself, happy birthday to me. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Christmas to me. Well, when I was just a little boy, I blew out all of my candles. But I feel 100 years older now, and I'm blown out all my chances. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Well, I got a kid somewhere, he must be grown up now, but I wouldn't want him to see how his old man turned out anyhow. 'Cause I walk the streets and I sleep on the ground, under the bridge by the river with a newspaper right down. Well, if I was a dog that stick me in the pound, they'd feed me some meat and put me down. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. Merry Christmas to me. much. Okay. Let's go to Fly Away. If I could fly away, I'd try today. There's not much here to lose. Still got 3 chords and the truth, so I'll fly away, fly away. Don't ask me why it's too hard to say. I look to the sky, single day. I could still sing the blues. Ain't that the truth? So I'll fly away, fly away. If I could fly away, I'd try today. Don't ask me why. I look to the sky, every single day. If I could fly away.
Disturbingly out of here.
No, we've got a few more to go yet. Now, way back, after I had enough of going down to Morris Brothers, I said to the old man, I'm never going back there again. I don't care. I'll go and work on a building site or a factory. This is at the end of year 9 or 10 or something. So instead of catching 2 buses a morning to get down there and 2 buses to get back home, I went to Nord High, which was only a 2-minute walk from our front yard. So I went up there, and the best thing about Nord High was there were girls in the class. And even though I've got 3 sisters, these were like proper girls, you know. And yeah. Luckily, none of my sisters are here tonight. Anyway, when I was there, I had a short of innocent affair with a girl called Hillary. We, went about 6 weeks or 2 months or something. We held hands a little bit and got threatened to be kicked out of the Catacombs Folk Club because we kissed during a song. That's right. Yeah.
As well, you should have.
Anyway, it all just, finished as they do. And years later, I thought, I wonder what happened to Hillary. So I Googled her, as you can do these days. And there's a lot of stuff online about Hillary. She was a mathematics professor at the Australian National University. And she was famous for coming up with some complicated theory that only a dozen people in the world could understand. And I knew she knew all about that stuff because I explained it to her at Norwood High in Year 10. Yeah. Anyway, the sad part of the story was that the reason I could find out so much about her was it was an obituary. She died some years before. And the obituary also said that she had two children. And so this song is called Note to Hillary's Kids. Well, I don't know where you are, I don't even know your names, but I know you're out there somewhere, so I'll write this just the same. I trust this finds you well, I hope life's treating you okay. I know this comes out of the blue, but there's something I'd like to say. I just found out your mother died quite a while ago. Nobody told me, there's no reason I should know. But you see, I knew your mother in my last year at school. She was in the brainy class and I was a sporting fool. She took a shine to me, I've got no idea why. She was the first girl I ever kissed and the last to make me cry. I called her mine, it didn't last very long. She let me down gently, said it was time to move along. Well, I never went back to school, and then she moved away. I heard her name mentioned now and then, till I found out yesterday. You know, I still have a letter your mother wrote to me, and it takes me back to that summer and love's mysteries. I'd like to let you know, but I don't know where to start, that a little piece of Hillary lives on in my heart. Let's do My Boss is an Idiot. Yeah. Now, you can't play this song at a work function. Well, you can. Depends what outcome you're requesting, you really want. My boss is an idiot. His boss is too. He'll do anything they tell him to. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. The hardest part about my job is to put up doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about you. The only thing he cares about is when his promotion comes through. He struts around the floor and thinks he's very clever. That man is a genius, said no one ever. My boss is an idiot. 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 One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. One of these days I'm gonna tell him to. My boss is an idiot. Thanks very much. We're gonna take a short break and we'll be back on in a little while. Grab a beer and we'll be there. And don't forget I got some CDs and a book for sale.